What's up everyone, Max at 343 Labs here. We're a music production school based in New York City, Berlin, and online. And today I'd like to show you a clip by one of our instructors, Abe Duque, where he explains phase and why this is important to make your mixes sound better. Now this clip is taken from 343 TV, which airs right here on our YouTube channel several days per week. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into it.
I've got this kick going on here, and now I'm gonna have it give me some more decay. So just get that kick here and increase the decay, and the decay is the length on the end of the kick. So now I just wanted to have a really boomy sort of 808 going on in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a filter and show you what happens with it. So I'm going to take an EQ, and now modern EQs are collections of filters and EQs. They're not just EQs, and there's a big distinction between what an EQ is and what a filter is. And let me just kind of grab a filter. So this one's a filter. If you know what the name of it is a low pass filter, meaning anything inside of the cutoff is this area here, anything inside of this cutoff gets to pass, and anything outside of the cutoff gets cut off, right? So I use it to kind of maybe mold, I can cut off some of the high frequencies on it. But the fundamental of the 808 is this little frequency right here, and that's the boom. That's where the nice boom is. And if I get close to there, if I pass it, I'll start to lose that boom. But just right around here and any area before it, I can, use and work that filter. All right. So just needed to show you that for background, because what's going to happen next is going to make you scratch your head. So check this out. Now I'm going to grab this and double it. So we're going to have it twice, playing the same thing. So I have now double the amplitude going on here. That means I have an exact copy playing exactly at the same time. And when you have that happen, only thing that happens is that you get twice the amplitude, meaning it's let's call it twice as loud. Okay, so all there is just the copy going on. But now I'm going to come in here and grab an EQ, change it into the filter mode, and now I'm going to perform something that's going to make you scratch your head. So I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. Now I only have an EQ on one, so the other one doesn't have an EQ. I only have an EQ on one of these kick drums. All right, so I'm going to start bringing down the frequency ever so slowly. And here we go, bringing it down. So everything is kind of the same that it was before, but as I get closer and closer to the fundamental, what the heck has happened? I've lost my boom. My boom is gone. I think actually the only thing that's playing at this point is going to be I'm going to drop a spectrum in there if you be easier to see what's going on in this one. So there's still high frequencies in this one. So the only thing you're hearing is these high frequencies, but this boom is gone. Why would it be gone? Well, if I mute one of them, that one comes back, although without the high end. Mute this one, and that one comes back. Geez, what's going on here? It's a very curious thing. That's interesting. Ah, yes, Stefan Brodigan says phase, ? Yes, it is phase. What I tried to tell you guys earlier is that EQ is a function of amplitude. So when you're EQing something, you're finding something, and you're whether you boost it in a certain area of the frequency spectrum or not, it's just boosting or cutting amplitude. So it's just raising or lowering amplitude. When you work in a filter, you're not raising and lowering amplitude as much as you're cutting things off by phasing them out. You're phasing them out of existence. So whatever's happening over here, meaning all this is gone over here, has been phased out of existence. However, it's not perfect, the filter. So at the cutoff, there's an area where it can have a big problem, because correlated material, meaning material that happens here and here, so frequencies, the same frequencies that are in two parts of the mix, will affect each other when using a filter very close to that frequency. And this is a disaster. And this, I bet you, this has happened to you. If you've ever tried to have two kick drums play together, and one of them having a filter on it to kind of just mold it better, or a kick drum and a bass line that are close in the frequencies that they have with each other, and you're trying to use filters to mold that area to say, well, I'm going to be smart about this and just really get it molded in there. And then maybe you even already realize that you're having trouble with the situation, that it's not working out for you. You have a very big problem here. And if you don't understand that this is going on, then you really will have a problem that you won't be able to fix, a problem that you'll just throw your hands up in the air finally and just keep on walking by. So let me prove to you what I'm saying. I'm going to just flip the phase on one of these. So I'm going to just do it on this one. I'm going to grab a utility. And with the utility, I'm able to flip phase. So I'm going to flip the phase of this channel of left and right. And these are the buttons that will allow me to flip the phase. And what the phase means is there's two parts to a waveform. There's the upper part and the bottom part. This is the compression stage and the rarefication stage of the waveform. And if the compression stage and the rarefication, which is the top, say the peak and the trough, are aligned with a copy, you get double the amplitude. But if they're misaligned, where they're kind of reversed, where the peak of this one and the trough of this one meet, then we're going to have a cancellation. It's like trying to add positive and negative numbers together. So -3 plus +3 is going to equal 0, and they're really just going to cancel each other out. So if what I'm saying is true, then I should be able to phase flip this right now, what's happening right now, and I should end up with my fundamental again. Well, let's try it. Oh yeah, there it is. That's pretty awesome. It's back. So phase flipping is actually, engineers live by phase flipping. Engineers, big consoles, like big fancy consoles, they have phased buttons right on the console. And a lot of the times when you make recordings, because this will happen a lot with microphones. Now imagine you recording. I always bring the example of recording, say, a snare. Say you're recording a snare and you have two microphones on it. One on the top of the snare to capture the hit on the skin, and one on the bottom of the snare to kind of capture the all that girth of that snare. You could even have a third one to capture the room. But if you happen to record a snare with the by putting this one up here, which is instantaneous, it's going to get that recording right there and then have the second one down here, but it has a distance between the bottom of the snare and the actual microphone. What you're going to get is a situation where the waveform, or the energy wave, is going to have time to travel. And that little bit of time to travel, if you don't have the right time spacing on the microphone, you might end up in a situation where you'll end up with a cancellation on that snare. So those two microphones will cancel each other out. This happens in recording guitars. You record like acoustic guitars, and you'll be like, oh, all right, let me just put one on the sound hole, the microphone on the sound hole, one on the on the neck of the guitar and maybe one a little bit farther away to capture a little more of the room. And then you try to put those three together, and somehow it's a mystery that you put these three together and they sound worse together than separately. You play them separately and they're fuller. Well, that's because the phase that happens in the room, and this is happening for different reasons. This is happening because of actual sort of reflections and waves bouncing off a wall and coming back and then meeting its counterpart at a different time setting or a time delay, and then getting a cancellation. But that's another aspect of this phase problem that engineers are sort of it's really their biggest nemesis. An engineer's biggest nemesis is phase. And one of the most insidious situations is the situation here that we have in the filter. The fact that filters are performed, it's a function of phase, gets you to the point where they will cancel out correlated material. So that's to me, when I figured that out, or when I was taught this revelation was just insanity, because I remember so many times trying to get my my kicks and bass lines and stuff to work in tighter with filters, and lo and behold, I'd been working against myself, and I was really depressed even because I couldn't understand why it wouldn't be better. But now I know, and now knowing is half the battle, right?
Thanks for watching, and don't forget 343 TV goes live right here on our YouTube channel several days per week. And if you want to take a course with us or just join our community, you can find more information at 343labs.com or 343labs.de for our German website. See you next time.